Hello and welcome in. It's Charlene here today on the second podcast of Intuitive Healing Talk with Charlene. Now, for today, we are going to be speaking about marriage and family. So we're kind of continuing that trend of relationship and marriage. But with this one, we're honing in more on balancing being married and family life, taking care of yourself, your spouse, and your children. What's that all about? How do we balance it? How do we feel about it? And we're going to be speaking with the special guests, keeping up with the Griffins, Joseph and Chrissy. So before I introduce them, I'm just going to put on the intro so that you know the vibrations of healing on this channel, and then we're going to get right into it. All right, so let me turn down all the way down so that we can get into the vibration for today. So, the beautiful people that I'm about to introduce are called Chrissy and Joe, and they're from the YouTube channel Keeping Up with the Griffins. So I'm going to bring them on stage to tell you just a little bit about who they are and what their channel is all about. And for your information, all of their contact information, the ways you can reach out to them and support their journey will be in the description box. I also have a link to their upcoming live stream pinned in the comment section of this chat. So if you're live with us, we're going to go over there after this stream and just celebrate with them and see what their vibration is all about. Or if you're already connected to them, we're going to continue to support them by enjoying the vibrations that they bring. Now, I'm going to talk a little bit about some of the favorite things that I like about their channel because I'm so excited. I just love these people. Beautiful, beautiful couples. So let me bring on stage, keep it up with the Griffins. And let me hope I do this right. Let's see. Here we go. Did I do it right? Yay! Welcome in. How are you guys feeling today? Are you excited to be here? I'm excited to have you.
We're excited to be here. Thank you for inviting us, and we're ready to get started and just happy to be here.
Yes, thank you for saying yes. I really am honored, and I should have said this backstage. Thank you so much for taking time out because I know we're all busy, but you took time out of your schedule to come and be on my platform and to share with the community. One of the reasons for me doing this whole thing about marriage is because I've seen divorces and what they can do. And when you see couples that bond together in love, and you're going to have tough times, it happens, but you hold together and you stay the course and you just anchor yourself in family and love. It's such a beautiful example. And that's why I invited you guys because I want the community to see that it is possible to get through different things and to still be together. But enough said, please tell the people who you are, what your channel is about, and where they can meet you on social media.
Okay. I'm Joseph.
I'm Christy.
And we are Keeping Up with the Griffins. We have a family channel here on YouTube, and we strive to promote positivity, just encourage not only our family members, but anybody who watches us to just be their best. You know, just do what you can in life and just make it the most. Our channel is mainly about family content. We do challenges. We also do food, travel, family games. We do it all. We do a variety of content. So we're a family channel, but we're also like a variety channel. So we offer you things from different aspects in life, and we just like to have fun and just like to be ourselves. Miss anything?
Okay.
I love it. I'm so sorry, guys. I'm a little slow when it comes to bringing the stuff
right.
back. Y'all forgive me. Y'all know Charlene is not tech savvy, but I'm here with love. All right. So I'm going to take you back, all the way back, because not everyone knows you and knows your journey.
Mhm.
The first time you met. Tell us the story. How did you guys meet, and who was the first to say, "Hey, girl," or "Hey, dude, I like you. Let's do this."
It's a funny story because we met unofficially back in 2006.
Mm-hmm.
This would have been a high school military ball, which is like a dance for junior ROTC students. We both attended that function, not knowing each other. Christy,
I was with my cousin, and he was with his girlfriend at the time.
yeah. So we both noticed each other, but didn't know that we were noticing each other, if that makes any sense. So we went on through that whole night without speaking to each other. But I was checking her out; she didn't know, and she was checking me out, and I didn't. But out of respect, I didn't approach her or say anything because I was with my girlfriend at the time. But I did take notice of her. So the night ended, and unfortunately, we didn't speak to each other. So that was the first time we saw each other. Fast forward a whole year later,
Yeah.
we connected on Facebook. And I can never get this right. I don't know if you sent the friend request or if I sent the friend request. I think I sent the friend
I
request.
sent the DM, but you
Okay,
sent the
I
friend
sent. Okay,
request.
so I friend requested her first, and then she messaged me first, and that's how we got started talking. And just so happens at the time I was not with that girl that I was with at the military ball, so here we are. This is what.
That is a beautiful story. I like it, and you know what? It's good that you didn't, holler at her the night that you
Right.
saw her because you were with that girl. You probably would have gotten a shutdown. I'm
Exactly.
telling you, because if you're a certain type of woman, which I feel like she is, like, because you'll do the same thing to me, brother. No, hang out with your girl. So that was good.
Yeah, so things worked out.
Yeah,
Things
it
worked
did.
out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's beautiful. So what ignite that first spark, like your first date? Like who said, "Hey, would you like to go out with me?" Who was the first to get that rolling?
I think Joe. Who was the first one? It's been so long.
It's been about 16 years, so I
16
want
years is a blink.
it's a blank.
It sure
I, I
is.
want I want to say after a few months of talking, we were kind of together, but
It was like friends first.
it was like friends, and I think I kept asking,
Don't do that.
and then you were like, "It's not time yet." But
I
once-
didn't want to rush. I
Yeah,
just want to
she-
make sure
she didn't want to rush into it, but I want to say after about three months, maybe 2 or 3 months,
Yeah.
we kind of started talking officially. We always had these long talks on the phone, and that's how we connected with each other deeper, and just
Oh my
kind of getting to each other's mindset as to
Yeah.
what we're wanting in the future. And I think that's how we knew that we were kind of ready to take the next step. And then this was not just a
Yeah.
few months relationship. We were going to be in this for the long haul, so to speak.
Oh, okay. Now you see, and this is something I spoke with Meet and I. That friendship, to me personally, I feel like having a friendship before you jump into a relationship, like a romantic relationship, it really sets a beautiful foundation because sometimes I want to speak to my friend, not my husband, if that makes sense to you.
Right.
Yeah.
And when you have that, it's like you could have certain open conversations. It's just a great foundation for a successful marriage, in my opinion. So
That's
hats
true.
off.
That's
Hats off. So let's jump into this whole thing about marriage and, balancing marriage life, personal life, and family life. How do you guys make it work? Because they have three amazing children, by the way, for those of you that don't know, three children. And I have three too, so I know, and it's different personalities you're dealing with. Even though they're twins, the older two are twins and they're similar, they're different. Am I not correct?
That's
correct.
correct.
Yeah.
You hit the nail on the head. They're very similar, but kind of different at the same time.
Yeah. So like, how do you guys like balance it out? The family, the marriage, and time for self, and just making it all work out, and business, of course, and probably a 9 to 5. It's a lot. How do you guys do it?
That's a good question because we still trying to figure out how we do it. We just do it.
Yeah, we take it a day at a time, and it's hard. It's almost like no 2 days are the same.
Mm-hmm.
It's very hard to nail down a routine, especially when the kids are in sports. Right now, they aren't doing any sports, so it's kind of easier to manage time for each individual and then time as a family. But I work 9 to 5, so Christy is home all day. She has more of a set schedule, a set routine as far as what she does when I'm not here. But usually when I get off work, we kind of, we kind of take it as it comes.
Yeah.
We'll do stuff as a family, go out to eat, go to a park. It just depends on, the mood of the day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, it's like no 2 days are the same. We just take it a day at a time, and we just go about it like that.
I think that's good because I get bored easily, and with that kind of vibe, you never get bored.
Right.
So it's always something new, and you kind of go with the flow. I love that kind of attitude. So as far as your relationship, right, do you have like a scheduled time where like, okay, Fridays is our date nights, or once a month, or anything like that? Do you have that time scheduled, or no?
No, we don't. It's pretty much we would have to ask our parents, like if we want to go out on dates, anything like that. But we really don't have a set schedule.
Yeah, we're trying to get a little bit better about that, but if we can get our parents to watch the kids anytime, we take full advantage of that. And we try to do it as much as we can, depending on their availability. And I think the good thing about that is our parents, they aren't too far from us, about an hour and 15, 30 minutes away. So
That is far.
yeah, it's not too far based on, we're still in state, but usually a lot of times we'll meet halfway and drop the kids off, and we'll get a weekend to ourselves, a few days to ourselves.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that sounds like heaven right now.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Because as a parent, you love your children, but getting that time with each other and to yourself is just so paramount. It kind of resets you, restores you. That's how I feel. Like we haven't had a weekend together in like forever. So what we do sometimes, we just have date night right at home. We have a 13-year-old, like, okay, listen, the little ones, they're pretty much independent. The last one is 5. So we go, okay, you just watch over them. You don't have to do anything. If they need a snack or something, you can help out. But just keep your eyes open so that we can just relax and focus on us. But of course, we're still looking out just to oversee, make sure. But it gives us time to just really vibe with each other. Maybe catch a movie, have a glass of wine, just talk and do the stuff that you do when you're married.
Yeah.
Because you need that.
That's
so
true.
I'm just going to go to the chat right here and welcome everyone that's in. Thank you so much for being here, and forgive me for being a rude hostess. I was just so excited to jump right in with my Griffin family. Oh my gosh. I see Cool Gamer. I see Quinn, KPB, Mees, and I. Elevate with Vern. I see here, who else is in the chat? Who else? Coach Sherry. Hey, Sissy. And the Butt Files. Thank you all for being here. I see a couple of other names, but I'm sorry, my eyes are a little dim, so I'm not seeing all the names. But I love you. Thanks for coming. Make sure you like and share this out. We're talking about marriage, we're talking about family, and we're really keeping it real and being honest about how we can balance this all and just make it work the way we can make it work and just make the best of every situation and every moment as we go. Because you see, when you have children, especially young children, the things that you do with them, you're building long-term memories. So when you build beautiful memory like time in the park, I love that. My husband, not so much a park person, but me, if I could lay in the park all day on a good, beautiful day,
Yeah.
that's me all day. So you're building memories. So whatever your environment is, your situation, just make sure you have quality time with your children, quality time with your loved one, and with yourself. Me
Yeah.
time is so important, especially, I don't know, men probably feel the same way, but please let me know how you feel about that. Like for me as a woman, I feel like I need my me time, like a lot, because there's so much that you do, you're nurturing, you're giving, and sometimes
Yeah.
you just, I feel like it's not selfish. I need to nurture me.
Yeah, that's true.
That's true.
Yeah, and I tell the children straight. I'm like, listen, you don't want crazy mommy, because crazy mommy is not nice. If you don't want crazy mommy, let me have some me time. Let me meditate, do what I want, just lay down, watch a silly movie. Like, guys have like a go-to show or a movie you like to watch to make you feel relaxed?
We usually watch a lot of the older sitcoms, like the '90s sitcoms, like
Yeah, Martin.
Martin,
I
Yes.
love My Wife and
the
Kids.
Parkers. We watch
Yeah.
a lot of stuff that we can laugh together with, and also not only laugh together, but kind of relive the time of when we were first watching that. And
Oh wow.
we just like to watch a lot of old stuff, even if we've seen it a bunch of times. We like to watch that and just laugh.
Me too. I'm Jefferson's in Sanford. I go even before you.
That might be a step further than us, but we watched that a few times.
So, you guys, how do you handle disagreements? And I'm going to give you a soul on this because this is deep. Like, a lot of people, they find themselves disagreeing and arguing. I'm not saying that you argue, I don't know.
Mhm.
But how do you handle if you have one opinion and, she has another opinion? How do you guys come to a resolve?
I feel we communicate pretty well. We believe in giving each other space because I feel like giving each other space in that moment is important. That way that we can think about what we talked about and come together and just, reconcile.
Yeah, and I think that's something that we had to learn over time. Um, Coming into marriage at a young age, at the ages we were, I believe, 19 and 21, I believe, 19 and 22,
22.
19 and 22. We were still fairly new to it. And, being a young couple, arguments are going to come up.
Yeah.
And I think the difference, I'm not saying that we didn't have arguments when we were dating, but the difference between dating and marriage is you're right there with that person.
Yeah.
You have to go to sleep with them. You have to wake up the next day and see them. So that's something that we had to learn to maneuver through disagreements. Coming to a marriage so young, 19 and 22, we didn't really know how to maneuver that. But with time, we eventually figured out what works for us. We figured out what each other can take, what each other can what's the word I'm looking for?
No.
We kind of figured out how we could bond together even through an argument. We figured out what works for us, and
Yeah.
I think as time went on, we kind of got to a space in our marriage where we talk things out a lot more.
Yeah.
We listen to each other. We don't try to overrun each other, and I'm gonna get my point across,
Yeah.
and my point is right. We got to a point where we listen to each other's sides. Sometimes, like Kristen said, if we need to, just back off from the conversation and come back at it a few minutes later, an hour later, the next day, well, not really the next day, but a few hours later, and just hash it out.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's better that way. You get time to cool off and
Mhm.
think about what I said, and then also think about what she said, and
vice versa.
You know, it's better that way.
Yeah.
That's something we had to learn.
Yeah, you kind of be logical about stuff. You do the math, like I like to say, and you
Mhm.
just, okay, does this make sense? Because I don't know if you're like me, Chrissy. I'm a little stubborn, strong-headed. Like it's my way because my way is the best way. So I had to learn to get out of that and really tap in and tune in. So
Yeah.
how did you guys decide to start that kind of structure, the structure of like, okay, we're going to listen, let's see what makes sense here? Like, did you go to counseling, or was that something you just kind of came up with on your own?
No counseling. I just feel like prayer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I also think we hit a turning point when we had children,
Children.
because then it was not just only about us, but it was also about them.
Yeah.
We don't want our children to see us argue or have a disagreement or something like that. So we also took that into consideration, and I don't know, having children changed
Yeah,
us.
changes the dynamic.
Yeah, and it changed us in more ways than one, um, as individuals, and also as a married couple. Um, I don't know. I think having children played a lot into, how
Yeah.
we went about disagreements and stuff.
Y'all gonna make me cry. Like that is the truth right there. I kid you not. That is the truth. And I wish more people would recognize that.
Yeah.
When there's, there are children there,
Mhm.
it's really not about you. You gotta be selfless.
That's
It's not about you. It's about them. What you're planting in their mind and their vibration.
Hmm.
Give me a moment here. Oh my God. No, that was deep. So I'm gonna keep going with that because you tapped on something that I didn't even think about bringing into the conversation as far as okay, parenting skills, right?
hmm
You have a different background. He has a different background. So in the beginning, you see things differently. As far as like, okay, how are we going to bring the children up? Like, what are we going to teach them? How are we going to make sure that they're structured and they go a certain way? Because
Hmm.
nobody wants kids to be rude and all out of place. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So how did you guys like? How do you? Because for me personally, that's still a challenge. Because my husband, he's more like old school, like he would like timeout kind of stuff. And I'm like, I
Yeah.
don't know about that. You know what I'm saying? It's still something that I'm battling with because I'm like, okay, they're not stupid. You speak to them, they need to understand, okay, you don't do this because that, and the other. Actions have consequences. But I don't know. You guys help me on that one. Like, how do you like make it work as a cohesive unit?
As far as parenting, I think the advantage that we both have in our marriages, we came from kind of similar backgrounds as far as how we
That's right.
how we were raised and how we were brought up. We both were brought up in a church. Both of our parents were together, uh, probably 40 plus years. I think.
Yeah.
I don't know about your parents, but I think my parents are coming up on their 40th year of marriage, I believe, and next week, I think.
Yeah. Next week.
So, yeah, we both came from a background where we had both parents there, and we both witnessed how they raised their family, and I guess something within us wanted to continue
Yeah.
that. And
They instill that in us, so I feel like
yeah,
we do the same for ours.
yeah. So I think that's a big advantage that we have, is that we both come from religious backgrounds, and we both came up in two-parent homes, and um, saw our parents striving to do their best for us and make a way for us. And um, some things we couldn't do, um,
Yeah.
when we were kids, and we didn't understand then, but now we understand.
it.
So I think that's the advantage of coming up in a household like that. And I don't know, we just try to pass it down to our kids, and I just think that's a big advantage that we have in our marriage and in our family.
Yeah, I think that's definitely a plus, and it's such a blessing and unique actually, because
Yeah.
a lot of people don't have that where both sides come from two-parent household.
Mhm.
It really is a blessing because you're able to see the full spectrum of a what they call it a nuclear family, but a real family, I would say.
Yeah.
Right.
And it gives you a foundation of security, and you guys are passing that on. And guess what? They're going to perpetuate that same action. It's going to keep going. So thank y'all for doing something good for the community, for this planet, because in my opinion, family is the foundation of society,
That's
and society is the foundation of nations.
true.
So
Yeah.
we could build families and keep families together. It's also a wealth thing. You could keep family together, you keep the wealth growing within that family, within that bloodline, and you keep it growing and passing down. That's it. Let's get into two fun questions, and then we're going to go along.
All right.
All right. So I would invite Chrissy. Let me give you guys a close up. Chrissy, close your eyes. And I invite you, Joe, to look at Chrissy and tell her your favorite thing about her.
My favorite thing about you is how you always motivate me to be my best in whatever I do, even when I feel like there's something I can't do or something that I'm not quite ready to do. You always give me that extra push to, go for it, and you always encourage me. And even when I accomplish things, you tell me how proud you are of me. And I guess that gives me the motivation to keep going and makes me feel like I'm doing something right at least. So, yeah. Thank you for that.
All right. Now your turn, Chrissy. Close your eyes, Joe.
One thing I like about you, well, love about you, is the fact that you go hard for us, hard for me. You could just come home from work, be tired, but you still sometimes you cook for us. If I want my hair washed, do that for me. You're so in tune with us, and that's one of the things I love about you.
I think that was beautiful. Now, Joe, I'm going to give you my husband's number. Please call this brother. Speak
Okay.
to him about cooking.
He needs some
This man
tips.
has to cook
Pointers.
I know you're listening, honey. You hear he cooks for his family after work and all that. Now somebody's in trouble tonight. Oh my God. So the reason I did that, right? And for any couple out there that's watching this right now, is because it's important to tell your partner, tell your spouse how you feel about them, to remind them, to uplift them and encourage them. You don't know what your spouse might be going through internally. You might speak about things openly and stuff, but sometimes everything doesn't come out. He might be having a tough time at the job, some kind of pressure or something. You might be going through something with the children at home or something personal you're working on. But when you uplift each other and tell each other things, it just gives you that boost. It reconnects the energy between you.
It's true.
And touching is also very important to keeping yourself connected. And I know when you have young children, sometimes it's hard to keep the physical.
Mhm.
Am I right or am I right?
That's
It,
very true.
it could be very, very hard. But how do you maintain that patience, that balance? Because we get cranky, let's face it. When you don't have intercourse after a certain amount of time, you get cranky. How do you maintain the sanity? Like, especially like just after the baby was born, like let's say 6 months or so. How did you, for the woman, it's not so bad for me personally. Like you're not even thinking about that. You're just in full on mommy mode. But for you, the man, how was that for you? How did you keep
Um,
yourself calm?
I kind of already knew what to expect since we had twins, and going through that at an early age. I kind of learned that she is important as well, even though what she went through. Um, I just kind of put myself on the back burner and just kind of nurture her as much as I can until she's feeling back to herself or feeling comfortable. And I mean that's something you can't be selfish about stuff like
Yeah.
that. And I think I learned that when we had the twins. So kind of took me back, even though the twins are 10 years apart, I still remember that part of everything. And, I just kind of put myself to the side and, you know, sometimes you got to sacrifice. It's
Right
hard,
on, my
but you got to
brother.
sacrifice.
Let me tell you, if you had any doubt that he loves you, Chrissy, just let me tell you, just looking at that video when you had to go to that room,
uh,
I'm like, oh my God, when a man loves a woman, y'all had me crying. I'm telling you, guys, if you have not seen their video with the birth of their last baby, you have to go see it. It's in the description box. I kid you not. You were in there with them. It was like a mini movie. And I don't even know. You're like a super genius or something. I don't know how you were able to capture all those nuggets and everything, still going through the emotions of it, still really being there present with her. How did like I
It,
could like I'm like if he did this just solo, what if you had a crew? Like that would have been like something even more epic. That was incredible.
yeah, it definitely
Incredible.
was hard, but I was trying to, I wanted to, capture this moment as much as I could because when we had the twins, that's something I wish I captured a little bit more of. I do have video clips of them. And at the time, we weren't on YouTube, so we weren't really thinking about,
Mhm.
recording. We were more into,
yeah.
snapping pictures and,
Mhm.
keeping those pictures. But um, it's something that I wanted to capture as much of just to kind of not only for us but to show our kids what that process is. We can I try to find learning segments of anything that I can show my kids, so I think that's something that we can all watch together one day, and as they get older they'll be able to
Mhm.
fully understand what's going on with it. But I don't know, at the time it was hard, um, being in that hospital, no sleep, and still trying to record the moment, and then finally getting to sleep, and then having to wake up less than an hour later
Mhm.
because they're rushing her to
Yeah.
go back. And I don't know. It was just hard, but I know it's something that I wanted to capture. And me personally, if it's something that I'm real strong on doing, like I have the willpower to do it, I'm going to do it, no matter if I'm losing sleep, no matter how tired I am. I just want to capture the moment.
Yeah.
Wow. That's admirable. You get it done no matter what. No wonder. Wow, I see that there. Based on the comment you said earlier about how she motivates you, I see that you guys have
Yeah,
a beautiful synergy. Like I always look at couples that are on YouTube. I'm like, how do they do it? Like you came on and you said, "We're the Griffins." Like you just know how to roll it. I love it.
yeah, that was not planned. We it
Yeah.
just after
That's what I'm
being
saying. It's so
yeah.
natural. It's beautiful. You guys finish each other's sentences too?
Yeah.
Sometimes we do. Sometimes we do,
Yeah.
and we've
It's
learned
kind of
that.
scary sometimes.
Yeah, we've learned that as time has went on, it's really gotten bad. It's gotten bad. We finished our thoughts, and
Yeah.
I can go downstairs and bring something back. I bet she want this. So I'll run downstairs as I'm getting something for me. I'll bring it back, and she was like, "How you know I want that?" I was like,
Uh-huh.
I know. After 16 years, I know."
I think that is good. Like, you always get to learn more about each other as you grow. Like, how do you guys grow together? What are some of the things that you do? Because a lot of times people get divorced because they grow apart, they fall out of love, they just don't have similar interests. How do you guys keep things like, you'll have your own interests separately, of course, but how do you like keep that track where you're like kind of like in sync with each other's
Mhm.
interests?
I think traveling has been big
Oh
for
yeah.
us as far as keeping us together. And even if while we're traveling, there may be something I want to go see or something I want to go do,
Yeah.
and we both go do it. And sometimes she finds out that she likes it, and vice versa. I think that's the beauty in traveling. You get to experience things together and also learn more about each other along the way. So I think traveling is big. And um, what else do we do? We kind of
I don't know. For some reason, I feel like YouTube kind of like brought us closer together.
yeah, Yeah, I think YouTube has
I know that
brought
sounds
us.
kind of
No, that's good. You don't usually hear that. Usually it might be the opposite. So that's beautiful.
Yeah, yeah, YouTube has played a big part in our
Yeah.
marriage, and
Besides God, because God always first, but
yeah,
YouTube really played
It's-
a huge
it's played a big part.
in our marriage.
Yeah, and we also try to do things like if we're um, cleaning up around the house, sometimes we'll clean up together. You tackle
Yeah.
this, I'll tackle this.
Cook
and
together.
yeah, we just find things to do together. Even with the kids here and we can't get out, we still find things to do
Yeah.
together.
I think that's beautiful because a lot of the times people don't do things together, and that's how things go separate. So, guys, if you're listening and you are not doing things together with your spouse, I'm not saying you have to do every religious thing together. No, you're not Siamese twins, but find things to do together. And if you don't like something that your wife does, at least tap into it once or twice to kind of show some support. You never know. Like they said, you might like it. Quark, honey, I'm talking to you. Hint, hint.
Stop the hits.
Oh my gosh. I see Team Reese is in the building. Hey, welcome in, fam. And Cooking with Ned. Hey, sissy, welcome in. Points back. Hey, my brother, how are you? Always a pleasure to see every one of you. Please remember to give a like. Share this out. This is the second podcast of Intuitive Healing Talk with Charlene. We're talking about marriage. We're talking about family. We're talking about keeping the relationship going. So, with that said, we're going to take a quick little break, and then we're going to come back and talk a little bit more about parenting and marriage. Give me a minute to get the commercial break on because y'all know your girl is not tech savvy. Listen, I swear, I feel like I need a crew behind me. Somebody be like, all right.
You got it.
Yeah, I just want to be on the stage and like, okay, commercial break. I don't have to do a thing, right? All right, we'll be right back.
Welcome to the merch store. I am not a singer. Thank you for shopping the merch store. All my merch are designed to empower and encourage us with the fact that we can heal ourselves. We are in charge of our wellness. So take courage and be in charge. For customizable merch, you can reach out to me. The customizable merch are great for family events like family reunions, and it's also great for corporate events. So if you have a business and you have a corporate event, reach out. I can help. Infinite wellness to you. African people, also known as Black people, have a different nutrition requirement. Oleink vitamins are created specially for the Black body. Be sure to check the link and shop your Oleink vitamins today. Vitamins are suitable for the entire family.
I always get a laugh. I promise y'all, I'm going to change that commercial, but I'm not a singer. I always get a laugh every time I listen to it. Listen, you just got to be you and do you. Like, whatever.
That's true.
Part of this YouTube journey is just really expressing and just having fun along the way. I love to share content on wellness and healing because most of the times when we think about healing, we don't think about the emotional things or relationship side of healing. And a lot of relationship can cause unwellness within us, right? So a part of this podcast is to just become aware of some of the things in your relationship that might not be well. So with that said, let's get into phase 2. And I see I got some laughs in the chat too. I know, right? Charlene is so silly. All right. So as far as I probably should have gotten some water. So I'm gonna put you guys on solo so I can get some water. But let me ask the question first. All right. So as far as when we're going back, because you said you guys have been married for about 16 years, right?
We've been married for 14 years, but together for 16 years.
Oh, I'm sorry. I totally missed that. Okay.
17, sorry.
Okay. Oh, Lord. This is probably over 40 thing. I'm sorry, y'all. So, okay. So take us like along a journey of chunks. Like the beginning of the marriage, was that rocky? Was it great? Was it bliss? The middle of the marriage, was that, okay, we think we got this. We're figuring it out. And then now. So like the three phases: the beginning, the middle, and not the end, but the current time.
Okay.
I would say the beginning. How would you say the beginning?
The beginning was, I want to say the beginning was kind of like a learning phase because we were both still so young, 19 and 22. We were kind of, well, she was like almost a year out of high school.
And fresh.
I was in college at the time. So even though we were married, we still had everyday life things going on. Work, college, school. We were still trying to figure it out at a young age. And
I mean, we had our moments.
We did. We did.
Like any other married couple, but it wasn't that deep.
Yeah, it wasn't anything that we couldn't handle because obviously we're still here. But I think the toughest thing was trying to figure out life as an adult. Not only life as a married couple, but life as an adult. Life as a college student. So we had all these things that we were trying to figure out at the same time. And it did get hard sometimes. And at one time, I was working an odd job where I
didn't like that job.
Yeah, I think that's kind of where I started to pay more attention to her feelings because this job that I had, I was working on the night shift, the third shift actually. So I'm going in at 11 o'clock p.m.
Wait, what kind of job? Were you a stripper? Because she said she didn't like the job.
No, it did. I didn't have to make ends meet that much, but
I'm sorry, I had to get that. Y'all asked for that night shift. You didn't like the job?
Yeah, yeah. I was actually working. I probably should have said the job.
I'm sorry, but that was funny. I can't stop laughing.
I guess I set myself up for that question. No,
yeah, you did.
Y'all watching? No, I was not a stripper. I promise you, I was not a stripper. I probably should have. I should have clarified that a little bit more. But I was working at a hotel as a front desk clerk, and that's something I was doing before we got married. When we were dating, I was working at a hotel as a front desk clerk, and I moved to a different hotel because it was a little bit closer to home. So I was working this shift 11 p.m. to 7 a.m. and she could not stand it. She could not stand it.
I was home by myself.
And I kind of got it, but at the same time, I knew I still had to provide for my family. So I had to come to a decision. Do I want to, continue with this job, or do I need to listen to my wife and pay attention to what's going on in my marriage, how this is affecting her? Even though I'm kind of getting paid good money, okay money, I kind of had to make a decision. And I think that's probably one of the first times in our marriage that I learned that I had to put myself aside and not only think about what Joseph wanted, but what Christy wanted and what our marriage needed. So that was a tough decision I had to make. And I think that was probably the biggest thing in phase one of our marriage, like the beginning of our marriage. That was kind of like the big thing right there. I would say the second phase was more of like, what do you think the second phase was? Probably when we had the twins, right? Or no? No, that's kind of still in the first phase, I think.
I don't know. Second phase? I don't know. I guess life after kids, like with the twins, and
maybe like when they got like two. Yeah. So maybe the second phase is
it wasn't like spending enough time with one another, and that's when like the communication wasn't up to par like it used to be.
So I think the second phase is probably like when we moved to Charleston, the second phase we were spending time with each other, but we weren't spending enough time with each other. So that's something that we had to learn to do. We both had to make the sacrifice to make that happen. And phase two was more of like a learning
Yeah.
process. Phase one was a learning process in a different way because we were still young and still new to marriage and still new to everything. But phase two is like we're in marriage, but we're still learning each other.
Like trying, how to get back to that place of communication.
Yeah.
That's what I feel like it was.
And then phase three, the now, is where you see the growth, the mature couple that
Been there, done that.
kind of knows the limitations of what each other can take and how far we can go with each other. And I don't know, phase three is more like an understanding phase. It's like we understand each other. We know what we need to do. We know what we don't need to do. We know how to make time for each other and be creative with it. So I think phase three.
Well, phase three, we've grown tremendously. Like
it's a lot of growth in phase three, and I just feel like our marriage will continue to get better as long as we continue to invest time in each other and just continue to do what we've been doing and trying to set examples for our children. And we like to keep that in mind a lot, and I think that what keeps us going is we want to set a good example, just like our parents did for us. So that's been big for us, just trying to set the example and try to make it fun for the kids as well as us. And
Yes.
it's been working.
Yeah. And I'm glad you mentioned fun because fun is so important, especially because you guys started so young.
Yeah.
When you start that young, it's almost like you miss some of not your childhood per se, but some of that youthfulness, some of the silly things you would do as a young person. So allow having young children to bring you back to that and enjoy it with them. I have fun with my children. Like I'm silly with them. I'm running around playing. Oh God, I don't mind I'm out of breath sometime. I'm like, okay, I gotta get my game up. I gotta get my game up. Oh my God, I'm so silly. Sometimes I'm doing like karate chops with them. I'm like silly stuff. And it's fun too.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh my God, sometimes it's like two of them against me or all three of them. I'm like, oh no.
You have to keep it fun.
Yeah, you
have to.
Yeah, but it also reminds me that I need to like step my game up with exercise because I'm more of like a meditation type of person. But people like the J and Wellness with Frugal Mama and Dr. Desi, they just watching them helps me to be motivated to move. So I started back jogging. So I got a little more stamina now, but I'm still not ready for the boys. I'm telling you, they took me down last night. They took me down. I'm like, oh, wait a minute. Okay, mommy got to go do this now. But that was my excuse to get out of the fight. They're like, the fight move. I'm like, I got to do this. I got to cook. Oh, God. But, it's really important to have fun. Like, these are things they remember because I remember as a child, my dad played with me. My mom, she didn't really have time to play with us. For some reason, she was always doing so much because it was 8 of us, and that's a lot. Mama, bless you, girl. I don't know how you did it, but you did it, so thank you. And I would just remember these fond memories of playing with my dad. So I always try to create memories of playing with them, and I really do enjoy it. It makes me feel young again. But also a reminder like, oh, shoot, girl, you out of breath. Wait, are you really? Oh, my God. So anyway, getting back to marriage and all the good stuff. What do you guys do for fun? Like, I love, and admire the things that you guys do on YouTube as far as like the games. Like I saw the hallway game. I was like, I like that. I wonder if I could get my family, like my husband, he is not really a gamesy, outdoorsy, sportsy type of person. So I'm like, how do I get him on board to like have these kind of family games? Like I like board games. No one else in the house does. There's board games that haven't been opened. And I don't like that because I grew up with board games. Like, help me. How do I get them in there? Because I don't play video games. That's not me.
Yeah.
So how do
Yeah.
you find that, like, okay, where everybody likes something? Because I'm still trying to find that out. Because I like what you guys know. I love what you guys do. You get everybody in there and they're all on board. And I think one of the smart things to do to anyone listening and have young children, break them in young. Because if you wait till they're this age, they already kind of have their own mindset. Like, no, I'm not doing that. I don't want to do it. I don't want to try that. So get them while they're young.
Yeah, that's definitely the key, getting them while they're young.
That's true.
And that's something we've always enjoyed doing, is playing games. We both love board games. The whole family loves board games. And
I'm moving in with the Griffins.
Yeah, yeah, we got a whole box of board games.
Oh, yeah.
And the shorts you see us do, we're always looking for fun things to do. Even if it don't make sense, we just like having fun doing it. But games is something that has continued to bring us closer as a family. It's something that we can do and enjoy and laugh together and just make memories. And we like to do stuff like fun stuff like that, and also going different places.
Oh yeah.
Going to someplace fun. We're always looking for different things.
Yeah,
that we can
things
do.
around in Charleston to do.
Yeah, and even if we know that we're going out of town for something, even if it's not for a long time, we're always looking up that city to see what's fun to do. We love going to the beach.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. We love going to different parks around our city. I don't know how many parks we've been to. We've been to
a lot.
So many parks.
That is great.
Yeah, we just like to explore as a family, and even when we're out as a family exploring, we're also keeping an eye out for things that we can do together when we don't have kids. So I think that's another plus of going out as a family. We are looking at different things that we go, well, oh, we should check out this restaurant. We should check out this place. And we remember that for when we have that time when we don't have the kids. And then
make it happen.
Yeah.
Make it happen. I like that. You guys seem to, and I can't imagine your summers must be fun. Almost every weekend you're out and about doing something. Yeah. I like that. Is it usually warm all year round where you are, or
no?
You have
not really. I think we're just getting into like the warm phase. I think it started to warm up last month. Usually in between December and February, it's kind of cold.
Yeah, it's real cold.
Too cold to kind of do any outdoors type thing. So
would you have like the 20s and 30s?
Not quite the 20s
like
and 30s.
40s, sometimes 30s. It depends. Like one time.
Like the 40s and 50s.
50s, yeah.
But we don't like cold, so we don't. we stay inside when it's cold. We find something to do in the house.
Y'all are summer babies like me. I'm a summer baby, and I'm like, give me the sunshine. I would lay out on the patio and just soak up that sun. That's why I love the beach vibration. I haven't gone last year, and I felt like something is missing. Like every year I try to go to the beach. There's something about not just the sand, but just the big body of water, and it just refreshes you. It's like, oh.
It's the sound, that atmosphere.
Yes, nature heals, man. I'm telling y'all, you get out in nature, you can live a well-balanced life. It resets you in a beautiful way. So, in regards to marriage again, like, how do you guys feel about, excuse me, and this might sound like a weird question, but how do you feel? Because you got married like really young, and let's be honest, sometimes your heart or your eyes might wander. So how do you guys feel about that? Is that something you would be like, all right, if you feel like wandering, maybe go ahead? Because some people are open and some people are like, no, you better keep your eyes on me. How do you feel about that?
It's something that we, like I mentioned earlier, we kind of take each other into consideration. I know when I'm out, I take her into consideration. Even when she's not around, I take her into consideration. And, I put myself in her shoes. I'm like, if I was her and she was me, I wouldn't like this. So I take her into consideration. So
same.
And that's how we go about it. We've never really had that type of issue. So usually when we're out, we're we're focused on each other and we're having
Yeah.
fun and just enjoying the moment. So anything
Yeah.
outside of that, I mean, it's nothing.
That one gets an applause. I like that. No one should have to worry about, okay, you're
Right.
looking at other people. Don't get me wrong. Some people have open relationship, and I say to each his own. I don't judge. Like, it is what it is. But I believe you should have a contract before you get into the marriage. Like, okay, is it going to be this type of marriage, that type of marriage, or are we going to be open? Maybe along the way, if we decide we don't have a certain interest, I don't know. I just feel like it gets all muddied when you have, like, it's enough with you and me, if you know what I'm saying. We got a lot to learn about each other, figure out about each other. It's just, I'm good. I don't have all that energy to be paying attention to nobody else. Like,
Right.
I'll stick with my boo,
When we're out, we're having a good time and just focusing on each other. And
Yeah.
that's all that matters when we're out together.
Let me tell y'all something. I'm sitting here and I'm listening to both of you, and I gotta say, y'all need to give y'all parents props. They brought up two amazing beings, like the principles that you have, the standards, that love, that what is the word I'm looking for? That honor, that you're honorable people, and that's really something to be admired. And I invite others to be in that kind of vibration where you think about others. Not everybody is selfless like that. You put yourself in someone else's position, be like, would I like that is key, in my opinion, because I do that. And not a lot of people are able to do that. Some people are just really selfish. I hate to say it, but it's the truth.
Yeah.
You think about, okay, it's about me and my freedom and how I feel, and like, whatever, she'll get over it or he'll get over it. But no, you have to think about the people that are around you and how what you do can affect them. Now, with that said, let's talk a little bit about finances in the marriage. What kind of advice would you give to like a young starting couple to set up like a good financial planning? Like, how do you work the finances of the family? I don't know if my question is clear. If it's not, let me know.
Okay. I think finances was a big thing coming into marriage because I remember at the time I was the only one working for a while, so I kind of had to, be smart with money, and it's something that we're both. How can I say it? It's something that we're both always paying attention to is the finances, and we plan a lot. We're big planners, so we're always looking ahead to the future. So we've always been the married couple that wants to save money and not spend it. Just because we have money, we're not going to go on this elaborate trip and blow our money. We've always been the type to save our money. So if I can give any advice to a young couple or a young married couple, I would say definitely pay attention to your finances. Make sure you save as much money as you can, but also at the same time, put some money aside to, have for yourselves to, if you need to go out on a date night or if you need a vacation or for whatever. So definitely save your money, but also put money aside, but make sure you're saving more money you're putting aside to, use on other things. I think that can save you a lot in a marriage. I think finances is probably causes a lot of disagreements in marriages.
Mm-hmm. People get divorced because of finances.
Right. So it's something that you both have to have the conversation about. You have to, come up with a plan on how you're going to spend your finances, what you're going to save. And I think once you do that, you can save yourself a lot of trouble in the long run. So it's very important to save and have that discussion early.
I agree. And what do you guys think? It's really good to understand someone's financial mindset. That is paramount because not everyone is on the same, trajectory or have the same mindset. Some people think a different way. So you need to find out what is your partner like what's their spectrum, like which part of the financial spectrum are they, like are they thinking like this, are they a saver, or are they a shopper, a hoarder, whatever. You need to figure that out before you start doing yourself, because you might find yourself entangled into a lot of disagreements and stress and frustrations, to save yourself that and have that conversation. It could be a difficult one, but it's necessary.
Yeah.
Sometimes the hard conversations are necessary, and hard conversations, don't be afraid of it.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean you have to be rude. You're just expressing, you're just sharing, and you just be logical about stuff. That's it. Do that.
That's definitely something you have to, nail down early on in your marriage, because it's one thing being a couple, but once you get married, you got to make sure your mindsets match up if you want the finance thing to work out. And it's something I'm thankful that we did early on in our marriage, because it kind of set the tone as far as finances and how we were going to spend our future together. So it's very important to have that conversation early on.
I agree. And how do you guys feel? Because I've spoken to different people and they have different perspective on the bank accounts, right? Should there be a family bank account, like a joint bank account, and separate accounts, or just that joint account? How do you guys feel about that? And oh God, if anything is a secret, because I know some people have their secret accounts, please, you can pass the question, because I don't want to. I don't want to start nothing.
We have always had a joint account, and we do have our separate accounts, but we've had our joint account longer than we've had our separate accounts, if that makes any sense.
Wow. But
we also invest more into the joint account than we do in our separate accounts, and it's always worked for us having a joint account. And I don't know, we just don't have any disagreements with finances. So joint accounts, separate accounts, it really doesn't matter, because there's always more in our joint account. So and it's always together. So that's what we go by.
So with a joint account now, because I've known people that got into problems with the joint account situation. One person is putting in and the other is pulling out without even telling the other person. Like, do you set up rules and parameters? Like, okay, so we have this joint account, and we're only going to take out for whatever, or if we have to take out, we'll inform each other. Like, how do you guys work that to make it work for both of you?
We've always consulted each other before we decide we need to take something out or we need to make a big purchase. That's just something that we've always consulted each other about, is what's going out more than what's coming in. So
I'm laughing because Nita and I saying somebody hiding money.
That's what I was laughing at. I was like, it's so crazy.
I'm sorry, Joe. Go ahead, my friend. I just thought that was funny.
I didn't even see that. But yeah, that's something we've always consulted each other about is when we're going to take something out. And that's avoided us so many issues and problems. And I don't know, I know this might sound not weird, but kind of hard to believe, but finances has always been the least of our worries in our marriage. It's something that we've never worried about.
That's a blessing.
So I don't know. We've always just consulted each other before anything comes out, and it just always worked that way.
And we don't be buying nothing like that, so
yeah, we
don't
splurge too much. Hey. Yeah, these kids eat enough, so that's where a lot of our money is right there.
Who's the biggest eater? The big boy?
Actually, not so much of Drew, but the twins, they eat a lot. It seems like as the years go on, they double what they eat.
I don't know how they do it, especially Kylie. She's the main one.
I don't know. They
I thought it would have been the boy, because boys usually at a certain age, I find they eat more.
Oh my!
It's mainly Kylie.
I'm sorry. I thought Kylie was a girl's name. Okay.
Yeah,
Kylie is the girl.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So she's the main one.
That's evidence. I need to get over to y'all channel more, so I won't be asking these silly questions. I got to get more familiar. Oh my gosh. So, finance again is important, and hats off to you guys for doing it right, setting it up right, and doing it right. I said that twice. I believe that families should have a fun account. There's different bank accounts that you should have. One for your savings. You should have an investment account. And you should have a fun account. I cannot tell you how resourceful a fun account is, because sometimes you just feel like doing something fun for yourself, and you don't want to touch your savings, but you have this money there. That's the fun money. And I just love being able to have that and just to tap into it to do something fun for myself or for my family. Like, a pizza night, that's a fun thing.
Yeah.
Even though I don't really eat pizza like that. They laugh at me because I don't do cheese. So they're like, what do you mean cheeseless pizza? Whatever, but and I would go and like I would scrape the cheese off, and I don't even know why I even bother, but in the name of fun, I guess, like once in a while, like whatever. Hey, Sister Winnie, welcome in, welcome in, welcome in, and Event Yours, welcome in. Walking Purpose, welcome in, and there was someone else that I missed. April, members in the house, woohoo! Members in the house, hey, welcome in. I hope everyone is doing fantastic. Thank you so much for being here with us. We are speaking to the wonderful Griffins, Chrissy and Joe, and they're just sharing about marriage and family life, what it's all about, how they keep their sanity, how they keep looking fabulous, even though they're doing all this amazing stuff, and they're having fun as they take this journey. We're going to go over to their channel in about 19 minutes. They have a premiere coming up. That link is pinned in the chat. Let me just go make sure it's still pinned there, because sometimes YouTube does stuff. Okay, so after we end here, we're going to go over there. We can go like a minute early just to make sure we're all there. Please go over. Let's show them some love and support. If you can't make the premiere, just click on it, give it a like, give it a share. We're all about love and building the community. And by the way, congratulations, guys. I saw you're at 25K.
Yeah,
I was so excited when I saw it. I'm like, woo!
It's definitely something we're proud of.
Yeah.
And it came a lot sooner than we thought it would. So we're thankful for that.
Yeah, because the last time I think I saw you guys publicly, you were at oh my God, was it 15 or 20? I can't remember, but it wasn't 25. So when I saw that, I'm like, yes.
Yeah.
So the beginning of this year, we weren't even at 6K yet. I think in January we were pushing for 6K, and then towards the end of January we got 6K, and then we got 7K, 8K, and then it just kept
growing. That's what's up. The work that you guys put in there, it pays off. It's phenomenal work. Like, you guys put in your work, and I love that you just have fun with it. You're not a stuck-up family. And you can see the love coming through the screen and the togetherness. I'm like, oh my God, these kids are perfect. They're Florida. They're like perfect. And I heard them saying, yes, ma'am, no, ma'am. When they were on Vern's show, I'm like, oh my God, who are these children?
Yeah,
I'm like, can I train my voice to say yes, ma'am, no, ma'am? In New York, I don't think so. It's just such a beautiful culture. I just love and admire what you guys are doing with the children. Now, let's talk about the children for a little bit. Now, you have 3, and everyone has a different personality. How do you have individual time with them to get to know them a little better and, see how you can help them along the way? I don't like to say discipline, because discipline just sounds so crude. It almost sounds like you're beating your kids, or I don't know. There's a negative energy for me that comes with the word discipline when it comes to bringing your children up. But that's just me. I'm not saying it's a negative thing, but discipline is important. But when you hear that word, because of how I grew up in the Caribbean, discipline meant a whooping. I'm going to discipline you. So I guess that's why it's in my mindset as something that's unpleasant. Oh my God, I just learned something. Wow. This is why I like coming on and sharing, because it helps me to tap into myself too, and to remember and to improve me. So I just saw a connection there between my childhood and why I don't like the punishment stuff and all that.
Yeah.
Thank you, Griffins.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Yeah, so anyway, how do you tap into the children at different times, given their different personalities?
As they've gotten older, they're approaching their teenage years. They'll be 12 in July, so they got another year before they're becoming teenagers. And we're starting to learn that we have to do things a little different, which sometimes might mean less discipline and more talking things out, to fit with their growth path, because they're not little children anymore. They're growing up, they're approaching teenage years. So we're taking all of this into consideration, and we're having to do more talking, and discipline has kind of changed into a form of limitations. Like we have to limit certain things. Like, okay,
Phones.
you have your cell phone. That means less time on your cell phones, less time on your games, less time watching TV. We're learning that we're having to kind of go that route as they're getting older, to teach them more responsibilities. So that's something that we're still learning and still tackling, and it's been working so far, and we're still looking at ways to kind of perfect that, as well as fit with their growth path, because if you can discipline, but it can only go so far as they get older. Sometimes I like to think discipline as they get older, it could, in their mind, it could look different. I don't know how to word that, but we're trying to take them into consideration, like their thoughts, what they're thinking of as they're growing older. And one of the things I've started doing was, I look at my son, and whenever he's doing something that I might not agree with, or something that I don't think is right, I always put myself in his shoes when I was that age. So I'm thinking, I'm kind of like having a flashback. I'm looking at him, and in my mind, I'm wondering, why is he not listening? Why is he not doing this? But then also on the other side of my mind, I'm thinking, okay, Joe, you at this age, what was your parents telling you? What were you doing? What were you not doing? What were you thinking? So that has helped me a lot in my parenting and the decisions I made. Just putting myself at their age and looking back at what I was doing at that time frame, and what I was thinking, and what my parents were telling me, and what I wasn't doing. And, all this is playing in my mind, and it's kind of changing me as a father, because I'm learning how to maneuver certain things. And I don't know, I'm kind of glad I've started to do things that way, because it has made me less frustrated. I don't get mad as easy as I used to when it comes to discipline, or having them listen, or trying to get a point across to them. By me doing that is kind of made things a little bit easier for me, so to speak.
Yeah, and that makes sense. A lot of people. Oh, before I go, do you have anything to add to that, sis?
Um, got anything there?
Usually I would just, do check-ins. How was your day? How you doing? What are you thinking?
Mommy stuff.
Something I did to you offend you, questions like that, trying to get, that bond in. That's what I do as a mom.
Yeah, I think that nurturing is good. Like, each one of us have a role, the male role and the feminine role. Like, the nurturing is so important, because we don't know what they're going through at school. But you guys are homeschooling now. Ooh, my son just told me he wants to do homeschool.
Oh,
And I'm like, okay. I just got to figure that out, though. I don't know how it's going to work, because it's something I kind of always wanted to do. But I'm like, can I really do it? I don't know. I feel like I need to hire an assistant or something if I'm going to do the homeschooling, because I don't think it's easy, is it? Like, it must be challenging.
The first year for me, it was challenging for sure. I wanted to send them back to public school, to be honest.
Right?
Like, I can't do this. It's too much. Just had a baby, and it's just too much. But as the days go by, it gets easier.
Okay, well, that's a plus. So anyway, what I was about to say, right? I love that you guys are tuned in, which makes you evolve with the relationship with your children, because a lot of us parents, we don't evolve the relationship as our children grow. Some people have adult children that they're still treating like children in certain ways. Mom, So you have to evolve the relationship. As your children grow, you have to grow with them and allow them to, be that independent person, that person that you're nurturing to be an adult. Because part of parenting is giving them the nurturing that they need to become independent, successful adults, right?
Mhm. That's true.
So if you keep treating them like children and being overprotective and all that stuff, like how are they going to grow? How are they going to experience things? So I like that. You speak with them. Like, listen, man, what's your vibration here? What are you thinking? What are you doing? Like, do you understand why that was not the right thing to do? And maybe I start this too young because people look at me like, girl, you crazy. That boy is 5 or he's 3 at the time. Like, his brain is not ready to comprehend. But let me tell you, it sinks in because I find like in the beginning, like I would say things over and over. I'm like, oh, like that frustration might kick in, and then I have to go like, okay, let me tune into them and see what's going on here. Because you can't use everything that your parents use. These babies are different.
They are.
That's right.
You got to tune into your children, and they're all different. You're dealing with different personalities. So the same thing that work on one will not work on the other. Like my little one, I go 1, 2, 3. He knows if I get to 3, that's it. The tablet is gone or whatever. So it works. My eldest would look at me like, you kidding me? Like, what? And my second, he would like, what do you mean 1, 2, 3? What do you mean? Because he questions everything. What do you mean 1, 2, 3? What does that mean? What are you all about? Like, I don't get it, Mom. I'm like, okay. So, you really have to tune in and grow with them and have that time, that heart to heart. And sometimes they close out. I don't know if your children do that. Sometimes my children will shut me out. They just don't want to speak. And I just have to let them be like, okay, when you're ready, mommy's here. That's all I can do. They just don't want to speak. And I'm very like, especially at school where I don't have eyes on them. I want to know what's going on. Is someone messing with you? Because I asked them, you have to have that talk. And shout out to April Shower. She did a live on child abuse and things that children go through. So we have to prepare them. I have that real talk with them. Like, if anyone touches you in a certain area, that's not okay. You scream, you kick, you fight, you tell your parents. And I didn't even realize that abuse is sometimes they were threatened to hurt someone that you love. Like, oh, if you don't let me do this, I'll hurt your mommy or your daddy. And I spoke to my children. I'm like, don't be afraid of that. You let mommy, daddy know. You let someone that you trust know, like somebody did this to you, and don't be afraid to scream. And I tell them places like if you punch a person in the eye or the ear or whatever you could reach, like certain parts of the body would at least knock them out for a little bit and give you a chance to get away. Like you got to be prepared. I pray nothing would ever happen to our babies, but there's nothing wrong with having them prepared, because when they're not prepared, that's when they're more likely to be subjugated to the abuse. And God, it's heart-wrenching. It's heart-wrenching, and I don't want any child to go through that, but it's real and it happens. And the best thing we can do is prepare our children and let them know what's out there. Have that real talk, real conversation.
Yeah, that's something that we've done a few times lately.
Good.
And we know that we need to probably get into some deeper subjects. So that's probably going to be coming up pretty soon as they approach their teenage years. So we just always want to make sure they're prepared for whatever, because this world, the things that are in it, and just everything that's going on, you just never know. Never know.
That's so true. Kayla Moore, welcome in. How are you guys doing? So good to see y'all. It's been a minute. I'm seeing some beautiful people I haven't seen in the chat before. So to all the new family, welcome in. Thank you for being a part of the Charlene Hill Tribe. It's all about wealth, wellness, just uplifting your mindset and just healing conversations over here. So if that's your vibe, don't just come one time. Keep on coming through. So we're going to go over to the Griffins at 7. That's about 6 minutes from now. The link is pinned in the chat. But before we close this out, I invite the Griffins to give any type of advice to anyone that is about to get married or anyone that's married and maybe going through some kind of hardship. What advice would you give to them to reconcile their relationship, or what things they should do before they get married? And you could take it and separate.
Okay.
I would say, communicate. Talk things out. That's important. Go ahead.
I'm gonna take it back a step further. I'm gonna say before you get married, make sure you go to counseling. It's something that we both did before we got married. We did counseling, and that kind of let us know certain things to look for, certain things that we should be doing before we get married, after we get married. It also helped because we weren't so blindsided once we got into the marriage. So by doing counseling, you kind of know a little bit what's going on. I'm not gonna say you don't know everything what to expect, but at least you won't be going into your marriage blindsided. Um, Definitely communication. Like I mentioned earlier, have that financial talk, so you know where your financial headspace is. Um, Finances is
Yeah.
real big in marriage. So
And don't let the finances get to you.
right,
That's where the communication comes in.
exactly. Also, spend time together. Go places together, even if it's not in a different city or out of state. Find something in your hometown to do, wherever you at. Just find something to do. Find a new restaurant to go to, a new store to
Yeah.
just window shop in. Just find something to do. Um,
Or if you have kids, you can't go nowhere. Just wait till they go to bed and get
yeah,
some ice cream and watch a
watch
movie
a
in the room or
movie.
something.
Yeah. So definitely communication, finances, spending time together. Those are big things in marriage, and those are things that have kept us for these past 14 years and 17 years of knowing each other. Um, Even though we started out young, I think we've learned a lot about each other, and that comes from paying attention to each other's feelings. So
Yeah.
um, as long as you do all that,
And always put God first. Don't forget that.
that's true. So as long as you do all that, I'm not saying that marriage is going to be easy, but um, it would help you out along the way.
Mhm.
Okay, and what about the people that are going through a rough time right now in their marriage? What would you suggest to them?
Um, I would suggest, if it gets to a point where it's too rough, you definitely have to seek out counseling. But a lot of times it's stuff that you can fix on your own. You just have to pay attention to each other. You have to sit down with each other and talk.
Yeah,
Um,
they got to be in the same headspace of wanting to sit down and
right.
talk. Because it could be one person that don't want to talk and the other one want to talk. So you got to be in that same headspace. Be like, okay, let's sit down and talk. Let's work it out. Because if you really want it, then you'll make
Yeah.
it happen.
Yeah, you gotta say, okay, you talk. I'm gonna let you talk. I'm not gonna say anything. Then when you finish, it's my turn to talk, and then we'll have a discussion afterwards. So sometimes you have to do that.
And space is not too much space, but like maybe 5 to 10 minutes or maybe an
Yeah.
hour.
Yeah. Sometimes
Give
you
it
just have to
space, yeah.
back off and just come back at it later.
Sorry, I pushed the wrong button. And I agree. Those are great tips, great advice. Thank you guys so much for sharing that. And another thing that I would add to that is go back to the beginning, because I often find that when you go back to the beginning, you remember why or how you fell in love with that person. It
Mhm.
just ignites a spark in you. Because let's be real, you may love your wife, you may love your husband, but you don't always like them. So
Yeah, that's true.
yeah.
Sometimes it comes to that. I mean, sometimes it comes to that,
Yeah,
and
we
you,
keeping it real.
yeah,
Sometimes he get on my nerves. Sometimes I don't.
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, it happens. It's real life. It's marriage. It happens. So
And let me tell y'all, sometimes my husband get on my nerve without him doing anything. That's just me with my own personal internal stuff. Like why he did that? Like seriously? And it's so funny, right? Because I feel like in marriage sometimes you switch personalities, and the same thing that I'm griping about that he just did, I find myself doing it the next day. And that's why I'm like, I can't judge. I'm no different. I'm no better. And I would laugh and be like, Charlene, you're just a piece of work. Like, I don't know. It must be an emotional thing, hormones in women that make us sometimes just emotional for like no valid reason. I don't know what it is, but I'm still figuring it out. When I find out, I'll let you guys know, I promise. But I've learned over the years how to balance that and not let it make me act crazy. But I would feel it internally and not act it out. But I know how to process it now versus just going crazy, because in my past life, the old me, I would just fuss and fight about different things, silly things.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, oh, maturity, such a blessing. It's so peaceful. I love it here. So with that said, I just want to thank you so much for coming, for sharing, for vibing. If you guys ever want to come back, the stage is yours. You are welcome to do so. And guys, don't forget to check out their business, check out their channel. The link is pinned in the pinned comment. So make sure you click on that. It's starting now at 7. So let's get over there and show some love to the Griffins.
All right. Thank you. We
Thank
enjoyed
y'all.
this. We appreciate being here. And thank you to everybody in the chat. We really appreciate your time. And thank you so much, Charlene.
Thank
for having
you.
us.
My pleasure. Okay, so let me close this out and let's go over to the Griffins. I'm gonna give everybody a chance to click on that. So I'm just gonna put on an outro or whatever it is I have on this thing here. Okay, let's put it together. Here we go.
Wow, wow, wow. Thank you for that super duper chat. Blessings return to you abundantly.